Let's talk Tanya for the 25th of Teves of a leap year. So yesterday we finished our conclusion about what a Beinoni is. And as we've come to learn, the Beinoni is a winner. Yes, there's a struggle going on inside the Beinoni at all times, a struggle for their identity, a struggle for their thought, speech, and action, but ultimately, because of Moyach Shat Lev, the mind that has natural sovereignty over the heart, the Beinoni always comes out the winner. The problem is that with all this winning, it might get to the Beinoni's head, and the Beinoni might become complacent. So this, the rest of this chapter is going to be really a reality check for the Beinoni, reminding the Beinoni, hello, you are a Beinoni, you are not a tzaddik. The Alter Rebbe begins with an interesting passage from the Talmud, which actually the Alter Rebbe starts the Tanya with, which says that before a soul comes down here into this world, it is administered an oath. Tehi tzaddik v'al tehi rasha. You should be a tzaddik, do not be a rasha. And then the oath continues, which means the soul is told that yes, we're making you swear that you'll be a tzaddik and not a rasha, but even if the entire world tells you, hey, you're a tzaddik, you're amazing, you're perfect, you should consider yourself like a rasha. Now the obvious question is, if you don't do any sins, why should you consider yourself like a rasha? You're doing everything right. The Alter Rebbe says it doesn't say that you should look at yourself as a rasha, but kir rasha, like a rasha. What is like a rasha? A Beinoni is like a rasha. As we discussed earlier, in terms of their internal composition, the rasha and the Beinoni are the same thing. They both have this battle going on between the animal soul and the godly soul, as opposed to the tzaddik, who internally is completely different. Because the animal soul, the tzaddik does not have the animal soul anymore. So what the Talmud is telling us is that the soul is warned before it comes down here to this world, that even if everyone thinks you're amazing, you're great, and you're perfect, but you should view yourself kir rasha, like a rasha. In other words, you should consider yourself at best as being a Beinoni. You should realize you're a struggler, and that's so important. Because if you think that you're a tzaddik, you think that you've kicked the habit, you think that the struggle is over, that complacency will lead you to stop working on it, stop working on being a Beinoni, stop working on being in that space, stop working on flexing the muscles of the godly soul and of the mind, and ultimately it's going to cause you to trip and to fall. And Alter Rebbe goes to extremes and says even someone who studies Torah the entire day and therefore doesn't feel any temptations. Alter Rebbe says that doesn't mean that you don't have the animal soul. It doesn't mean the struggle is over. It just means that you don't have time to think about your temptations. And even someone who maybe actually has feelings of love for God throughout the day, the Alter Rebbe says that might be something which is temporary. Don't think that you've kicked the habit, that you've won the battle, because that is a recipe for disaster. And this is a message also for all of us in life, because every single one of us, even if we're not a Beinoni in all areas of our life, but there are certain areas in our life that maybe in the past we've struggled with. And right now we're in a space where we're a comfortable space. We're not struggling anymore in that area, or at least we're doing the right thing. Let's say someone has been struggling in the area of davening, okay? And, but now the last half a year, doing well, davening every single day. Maybe even not even feeling the struggle so much. And it's easy to enter a zone of complacency, and that's what Alter Rebbe is warning us over here, that just because actually you're doing the right thing doesn't mean the struggle is over, and don't close your eyes for a second on it, because if you do, the next thing you know, you'll be a rasha, you will fail again in that area. With that, we've concluded the third possible outcome. Tzaddik, rasha, Beinoni, and the question becomes, okay, so there's the struggle going on within me. There are three possible outcomes. Which one of these outcomes should I be aspiring for? What should be my goal? Well, I think we all know the answer to that by now, and the clue to that might be the fact that the Tanya is known as the Sefer Shel Beinonim, the book of the Beinoni, but Alter Rebbe will spell it out, God willing, in tomorrow's Tanya.